miss Taco Bell. I really miss Taco
Really?
Bell. Oh my
I don't.
gosh.
I had it once when I was.
love
I think
it.
my family was like going through like Arizona or some deserty place is what I remember it as, and we had Taco Bell and I did not enjoy. Yeah, it didn't go well, and I never ate it there again.
Really?
Never ever. Haven't been there since 1990 something.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my parents are divorced, and when I was young, my dad got to have me every other Tuesday and Thursday night for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And literally from the time I was 4 to the time I was 14, we went to Taco Bell. And now I just feel so bad for my dad. I made him go to Taco Bell once a week, every week for 10 years. I've apologized to him profusely.
Oh, that's
I don't think he
sweet.
cares, but I would always get a taco and the nachos that you dip in the cheese. Oh, that was my jam.
You know, when I lived in New Jersey and I could easily get to New York on the reg, I thought it was the Shake Shack. But then when I moved to the West Coast, we have In-N-Out here. And then recently, we were driving back from Utah, and the exact midpoint between Utah and Los Angeles is Las Vegas, which is, you know, a mecca of many things. And there they have a Shake Shack. So I was like, oh, great. I'll, like, go to the Shake Shack, which is where my true, like, East Coast-y fast food love is. And I tried it, and I was like, you know what?
You didn't like it?
I didn't not like it.
It wasn't great.
Yeah, it wasn't, you know, the most amazing thing. So I was like, back to the In-N-Out, I think. Or you can eat there, right? Because you can get the, like, lettuce bun type thing.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't eat very much fast food, but In-N-Out I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Chipotle, obviously.
Chick-fil-A is another place where I struggled really hard to like. Yeah, I was.
Because you don't like Mexican.
I don't. You see, I think that Chinese food and Mexican food, I think the spices, something about them are kind of at odds with each other. And so since my palate, I grew up with like Chinese food, and I guess it left enough of an impression that I don't love Mexican food. I like good old American. But internet hate. Let's talk about internet hate.
Let's talk about a fun topic called internet hate. You know the internet. We've all experienced it, some more than others. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, you?
Well, I feel like I should get into why we're, like, because it's such a non sequitur. I was telling Mary Kate.
Fast food.
Before.
And now internet.
Well, I was telling Mary Kate before that, like, I listen to a lot of podcasts. And, like, my favorite podcasts are the ones that do actually get into
the nitty-gritty.
The nitty-gritty. Well, like, the things beyond just, like, the surface level, like, oh,
What's your
like,
favorite
how are
color?
you? Like, what route did you take to get here? Blah, blah, blah. And I always prefer, when I know that the two people know each other, I always prefer, like, that they skip the small talk, because I don't want to watch two people have small talk any more than I want to partake in it myself.
Let's not forget that I have seen you on multiple occasions meet someone and then immediately ask them their first kiss story.
That's true, because that's a thing that I ask people.
Internet hate, man. Whew. That's rough.
It is
hard.
rough. It is. Have you experienced, like, a lot of it?
No, I mean, I have, but I can't, like, complain about it, because on the whole, like, it's been pretty good. There were times in the LBD era that things got a little...
Would people, like, send you things?
Like, no,
tag you, or was it more...
They would just say things about us. Mm-hmm. Or our acting. Oh, that's just a whole big conversation. And people got mad at us for being upset because, like, we shouldn't be reading it. It's their freedom to... Which, absolutely, 100%.
Sure.
But we had made ourselves pretty, you know, accessible online. And that's never an easy thing to do, to see people kind of crap on your work.
Well, because
and
I
did
assume...
not always handle it the best.
We're not, like, Kate Blanchett level of famous, so we're, like, people that come at it from, like, a fandom-y background ourselves. So, like, part of the exciting thing...
Sort of. I feel like your fandom experience was much different from mine.
Like, prior to, or, like, during?
Yeah, I didn't know what fanfic was. Even though I did get on the OneRing.net every day.
Oh, hey.
In high school.
Is that, like, your MuggleNet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's an interesting thing, which probably a lot of people have thought about, but I hadn't until someone brought it up to me, was that anyone online who is saying things is anonymous, and most people don't even, like, have their picture on things. And so when you read their words, you give them every benefit of every doubt, and it's essentially like you are saying it back to yourself because you're like, you have nothing else to base them on, so you just like imagine your own voice saying that to you.
So it's like looking into a really awful mirror.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so terrible, because you don't have the ability to be like, oh, this is a 13-year-old boy. Nothing against, there's a lot of lovely 13-year-old boys, but you know what I mean? Or, you know, somebody who has never liked anything ever. Like, you just have no concept of who they are. And
so then it forces you to give that the only, like, face that you have handy, which is your own.
Which is your own.
It's very interesting.
And it's stupid how, of all the thousands, hundreds and thousands of lovely people that will say very nice things to you, if one person says something terrible, that's the thing that you remember.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I kind of, like, actively look it out, like, look for it. Like, sometimes I'll go through the comments until I get, like, one that's not so nice. Like, I'll pass, not, like, hundreds, but, like, I'll pass, like, quite a few
people
comments
are usually
of just, like...
kind.
Yeah, people are usually kind, and I'll pass a whole bunch of comments that are like, oh, I love this was great, until I can find that one that's, like... this is garbage, and I frankly wasn't impressed or something. And then that's the one that will, like, not always, but sometimes I'll just, like, let ruin my day. Like, I've texted you, I think, when I've gotten comments and just been like, why don't I like me? Well, no, not that. But, you know, I let them affect me in a way that I wish I knew how to not let them do that, short of just not reading anything, which I
honestly don't know how it's possible to not let it affect you. It's made me understand and have a lot more sympathy for celebrities. Not that I am one, but, like, no wonder they don't look at anything. Like, if you had that coming at you, like, at full blast all the time, every day, can you imagine how awful that would be? Like, it's really difficult, I think, to even... on the level that we've experienced it, it's hard enough, but, like, I can't imagine being somebody like, you know, Emma Watson level famous and having people just like,
say awful things.
Yeah, and then they get in trouble for not being more accessible to their fans, and it's like, well, what are they going to do?
But I think what really bothers me, at least about when I find the criticisms, is that they'll often get at the one thing that I also know in my heart of hearts is, like, a little bit true, where I'm like, yeah, no, that was a really shaky camera shot, or like, yeah, no, I did rush the ending there, and so I'll just, it is kind of like what you're saying. It's like I project my own voice onto this, like, anonymous person, and I just hear myself telling me, like, nope, you can't fool them, which is good. Like, I do like that we have an audience that is a thinking audience, which I don't think everyone has, but I think at least you and I think we have thinking audiences. And so I do want to say, like, there is a difference between internet hate and, like, and critique, which I think, like, well, also, I don't know, like, critique is just a part of, like, creating art, but when it's coming from people that you don't necessarily know or didn't necessarily expect it coming from, it can be a little bit, it's not the same as getting hate, but it can, I think, it affects me, I think, even when I tell myself, no, all, like, constructive criticism is fine, but...
to not affect you.
Yeah.
You, as an actor, like, have to kind of be emotionally available, so, like, of course... and not that it's not this way for directors or writers or whatever. As an artist, you are pretty already, you know, sensitive.
You're vulnerable because you're putting, like, especially for actors, I think, where, like, for all artists, essentially your work is an extension of you, like... I call them, like, my little Horcruxes, because it's like, I have put a piece of my soul into this, and I am entrusting you with it, and I hope you take good care of it.
Yeah.
And I hope it doesn't fall into the wrong hands, because that's when the, like, hate comes. Yeah. But I think as an actor, you guys are especially vulnerable, because for me, it's like, those are my words. Yeah. Those are my, like, visuals in my brain. But for an actor, that's your face. Yeah. Like, and we can change elements of it with, like, makeup or, like, hair or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's still, like, your face, which I think that, like, what actors do is a very vulnerable thing on a different level, and that's why I try to respect it.
Well, it's also, like, this, the internet is so new, but really, like, this is such a different thing that actors haven't really ever had to go through before in this way, like, you know, in every other medium, you're in a movie, you go to a play, like, you don't have to read the review. It's not like your video's right there, and then underneath are what thousands of people think about you. And, like, it's such a different experience than we've ever had to
Definitely.
do before.
But also, I would say, like, something that I think is really cool is that this is a generation that it's used to having a dialogue with the people that make the things that they like. And I think that's so cool because when you think back in history, like, there is not another time where you could have this kind of immediate, like, I finished this book, now this author is on Twitter, I'm going to tweet at her and tell her I liked it.
We did with Rainbow. And like, she got to see our version of the scene, which was amazing.
Right. And when you think about, like, other times and, like, when you think about, like, there are some really, truly, like, sad geniuses in history that, like, maybe could have done with hearing that a little bit more. I mean, I don't know. Like, I can't project onto that, but I think, like, it is nice to know that people like you and like your work. So I think, like, that's kind of why I partake, because I think it's like, this hasn't been possible before, and we're lucky enough to be able to partake in a two-street dialogue with our audience, and, like, I don't know. I just think that that's kind of a cool thing. So, like, internet hate, you have to take the bad with the good, or the good with the bad. Is that how we say it? And that's just a part of the deal. And
overall, we are very lucky at this point.
Yes.
We have really wonderful people watching our stuff and supporting us, and that's really cool, and I'm very thankful for that.
That means you.
That means
heartwarming
you
parts.
Guys. How's your card going over there?
I feel bad because before I came here, I decided I was going to treat myself to a healthy lunch. And then I walked next door and there was like a little shop that sold mostly cards. I couldn't tell what they sold other than cards and like some nice things. But I saw this one that on the cover it was like, "You are my person," which is a thing that I've really I have trouble with the word boyfriend.
I use the word person.
Or like girlfriend, or I don't know. I've never been in since the very first person I ever dated, I was always just like, no, I don't. Do we need to call it that?
For me, for my friend Anne, who was my former roommate and best friend, your person, and this rubbed off on me, it was like, not just a person you're dating, but like your person. Anne would always be like, well, you gotta find your person. Mm-hmm. That's like your person. Yeah. Your soulmate or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I hate the word boyfriend too. It feels weird. I often say...
It feels very Susie High School.
Yeah, I often say my fella.
I knew there was...
for saying fella.
Fella is cute. That's cute.
Oh, I'm curious about this. Do you imagine me playing your characters as you write them? No, you don't always... We haven't written with me in mind too many times, but... A couple times. Yeah, how does that work in your brain?
So the first thing I sent to you, I think, was Kissing in the Rain, yes?
Yes.
And I wrote that with you in mind because I wanted to work with you. So I think I didn't know you at the time. So that could be a thing we can get into. I didn't know you, so I wrote Kissing in the Rain, and I guess the only thing I had to go off of was I had seen your work on the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, loved it. Then I saw your work on Squaresville, loved that.
Thank you.
And then I think I scrolled through your IMDb credits a little bit, and I think I may have watched one or two of your vlogs. So I watched that, and I kind of got an idea of at least what your on-camera presence was in 3 different types of characters, because there's you as Lydia, then there's you as Zelda, and then there's you as Mary Kate the vlogger. Or not Mary Kate the vlogger, but Mary Kate the person talking to a camera, which felt very much like you were talking to me. So I felt like I had not like I knew you. That's a parasocial relationship. But I felt like
a pretty good idea.
I had a good idea of what your cadence was when you were speaking. Yeah. So when I was writing, especially the final episode of the Lily and James arc, that was the second episode I wrote. I wrote the first one and the seventh one first.
Maybe my favorite one, on the page. I really love that.
Yeah, episode. That was the one that I wrote having just listened to your cadence, and I was like, I think she would do well with this. Lily as a character was not she wasn't a good kind girl. But I thought that would be an interesting thing to see from you. And so I wrote that, and that was how that went. And then obviously, since Kissing in the Rain, I have worked with you a number of times, and also we have just hung out because I consider you a friend.
I do as well.
Oh, thank you.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Glad we got that cleared up.
Yeah, right? I was going to say, can we be friends? So going into I Ship It, I would say, which was not the next time, but like the most recent time, I guess, that I have written something going into it with like, yes, Mary Kate is who I want to cast in this role. I knew you much better, I would say, than I did when I wrote Kissing in the Rain.
Yeah.
And writing that, it was almost like less thinking about what you could do, I would say, and more thinking about what I wanted to do, because I was like, well, she's a capable actress. She'll be able to handle whatever I can throw at her. Not that I didn't think you could the first time around, but I guess, you know, you want to like...
Just didn't know me as well.
I didn't know you as well, and also I think when you first meet somebody, you kind of want to like... You feel like more is writing on the line. Like, I want you to feel like this is a good fit. Whereas at that point, I was like, I feel like she'll say yes because we have a track record. Like, if I asked you to, like, be in a thing, you would probably say yes. Like, given a certain level of quality, obviously. So I wrote that one more like, this is a story I want to tell. And I know Mary Kate is the image I have in my mind while I'm writing it, but it's not necessarily something that I'm writing, like... I wasn't as considerate, I guess, but that sounds like such an awful way to put it.
No.
But I guess I was less, I had less weighing on me, like in terms that like while I was writing it, I was more just like, I was just writing a character that I wanted to see, and I wanted to see you play.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. I'm glad you wrote that character.
I mean,
is there playing her?
No, I'm glad. I enjoyed watching you play her.
Thanks.
Do you I don't know, do you find a difference in those two scripts? Like, in terms of how you reacted to, or how it was playing them?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I mean, obviously they're just very different, but you, I mean, you have a style, for sure, about the way that you write, but, like, I don't feel like there are any similarities, like, character-wise. Not similarities, but, like, obviously Zoe and Lily are very different, as well as Charlie and James, like, for both of us. Like, that was two very different things, and... I don't know. That's always important to me. I really try and make my characters as different from each other as possible.
I guess, is there a difference between, like, the way you approach my scripts, or the way you read my scripts, versus how you read, like, other scripts that aren't with people that you know as personally, or... I
guess it's nice when I read yours because, or at least in these cases thus far, you haven't given me a script yet to read that you haven't been saying, like, I want you to play this character. Like... You know what I mean? Whereas, like, when I read scripts just for auditions and stuff, like, there's a lot more pressure in terms of, like, oh, I have to become this character versus, well, I'm already, like, set for this character. So, like, I can feel already, like, a little more at home in that person's skin rather than, like, having to prove myself as that person.
Oh, that's interesting.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a lot more enjoyable to read a script when you've already been offered the role than it is. I mean, I love reading scripts, but actually, this is a whole other subject, but, like, one of the things I hate most about my job is that it is very heartbreaking to get really connected to characters and then not be able to play them. So it's fun when you know you're going to be in something and you can just read it with an open mind and be like, oh, I can fall in love with this and I can get excited about this because I don't have to fight for it. It's a really freeing...
I would say you kind of transition that nervousness, rather, onto the writer, where it's like, when I send you those scripts, I think if you, like, were to dig up one of my emails even, they're always, like, full of nervous energy of, like, it's gonna change, it's gonna get better.
I guess that's true. But, that never, like, occurred to me. I don't know.
It's like a writer audition. I'm like, I want this person to be the face of this character, and I hope she really likes it. So,
well, I watched a Telltale vlog, which I thought was excellent, and then I read the script, which I also loved, so it wasn't a hard sell. I mean, had I watched a Telltale vlog and thought it was terrible, I might not, you know what I mean? Like, but
yeah, track record is important. I think even just, like, for all people, but, like, as a director, I'm in, like, kind of a hiring position, so there is an element of, if a person is particularly unproven, I'm less likely to take a chance on them, because it's just... I don't know.
Yeah, same.
And I feel bad because somebody at some point had to take a chance on me, I think.
Yeah.
But
it happens. It's just part of the progression. Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, thanks. I feel like there's a way to do what I'm trying to do, like, easier. I think if you do this, right? Like, that's how you're, yeah. Yeah, this feels right.
Since we've done that. There you go. Ta-da!
It's so pretty! I like bows. I have one on my Twitter bio right now.
You have introduced me to bows, and I like them too. Well, I never thought of wearing one in my hair until you made me wear one in my hair, and then I really liked it.
When did I do that?
I didn't write this. The second one, as I walked out.
Oh yeah, that one. We just like found that in the back of my car.
I really like it. I think it makes the whole thing.
I think it pops in your hair. I think like the red of your hair is like also a non-insignificant reason of why I keep casting you.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, like it looks good on camera.
I'm not gonna change my hair color.
It pops. It pops well. Like I've always been more drawn to like fictional characters when they're redheads. Like, I was a huge fan of Anne of Green Gables. Yeah. I love Lily Potter. Ginny Weasley, she's cool too, but I liked the uncharted territory more of the
Potters.
Yeah, those characters I really enjoyed, like Joan. I think also when I was growing up, anytime I would see a redhead, maybe it was because of my Lily Evans obsession on TV, I would always go, oh, she'd make a really great Lily. So when I saw you, I was like, I think probably like my 13-year-old self was like, she'd make a great Lily, which is why I wrote that.
And I got to be that Lily.
You did. You got to be.
I like that Lily. Thanks for casting me and stuff.
Yeah, I like casting you and stuff. And then also when I adopted my kitten,
but I want to meet her.
Like also a redhead.
She's a ginger.
She's a little ginger cat, and the foster cat I had before her, Molly, who you gave a voice to.
I did. Are we ever gonna see that voice?
We are. Eventually, at some point. But she was also a ginger kitty, and I think it's because I like the way that, like, the color pops more, and I knew going in that I wanted it to be an orange kitten, preferably with, like, the creamsicle tummy.
Creamsicle tummy? What does that mean?
Like an orange creamsicle. It has, like, the white at the bottom, like, on the inside.
That's really cute.
Yeah, so I think of them as orange creamsicle kittens. It took me a very long time to name her, which...
Yes, you went through a lot of different names.
I did. At one point, I thought I was going to go with Poppy, and then I realized, like, that made her sound like a dad or, like, a grandpoppy. So I was like, no.
I would never think of that.
You would never. It would bother me over the years as I looked at her, I think. So I was like, no, gotta come up with something else. And then I thought of Eloise, which is one of my favorite children's characters. And then when we were at Sundance, there was a documentary about Eloise and her illustrator. So I took it as a sign from the universe, and I finally committed after having her for like a month and a half.
Sorry, I was just having trouble.
Struggling there a little bit.
Yeah.
So her name is Eloise, and she's very cute. And people have been asking us whether or not our cats are gonna ever be in a video together.
Do you guys know cats? Have you been around cats?
They're not...
They don't like.
They're not fans of others,
cats.
Which is weird to me because can you imagine being like a human and like every time you see another human, yeah, you're just like.
I mean, some humans are like that.
That's true. But even those humans, they've got like one or two people.
Yeah, that's going so well. I'm so impressed with your craft.
Thank you.
I will take this opportunity to say many people want to know about our upcoming projects.
Mm-hmm.
We can't tell you anything more about them.
Nope.
Sorry.
But
suffice it to say, we will be working together this year.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we have things in the can that we've done together that have yet to be released.
Also come out. One was with Laura Spencer.
Yes,
who is lovely to work with.
She's lovely.
Like, I ship us creatively.
I ship us too!
Oh,
that's a real nice moment. One thing that we are going to be working on this year that we can tell you about is... What is the name of this? Edgar Allan Poe's Murder Mystery Dinner Party, which Shipwrecked is doing and has released a promo for, and you can check it out here. Go watch it.
Click on here.
Go click on that. Oh, what's that? Oh
what's
my
that?
God. Is that
Is
the
that
shorts
the
program
shorts program
at
thing?
Sundance that we were in? Yeah. I'm not in the promo that is up, but I will be in the series reprising my role as Annabelle Lee.
I mean, your character is mentioned.
Annabelle is mentioned, so never fear.
How many ravens do you think he sent her?
It's too many.
My headcanon, yeah. I feel bad for him because
I
want to,
I like him more than Annabelle likes him. I've got like a major crush on.
Which is why I think it's okay, because otherwise I think it would like run into like friend zone territory.
He's so cute.
I think
Annabelle does have a soft spot.
I think so too. She wouldn't have kissed him like that way.
I mean, that poetry. Absolutely, please go watch that, and that is a thing that we definitely will be doing in the near future, so there you go. While you're at it, go subscribe to Yulin's channel. Yulin is working, where she is currently doing a series called...
It's called Thinking Out Loud, a thought about that one for a while.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
good.
And you've got, I didn't write this, which is kind of an ongoing sporadic series on your channel as well.
Yeah.
And I have appeared in some of those. And
Yes,
will
and I'm
appear
sure.
in some more.
Yeah, exactly. I Didn't Write This is a series where I adapt excerpts of poetry and literature written by other people.
That's
yes,
very good.
There we go.
Go subscribe to Yulin. Now let's show what we made today.
Yeah, let's do it.
On Craftversations. Let's see, Yulin.
Me first?
Yeah.
Oh, ooh,
Let's
put
see.
me on the spot.
Beautiful card.
Okay, so the front says, sup.
I like it.
Because, okay, so Mary Kate has these letters that I thought, like, out of everything, since I have such a busy, like, front of the card, I needed something bold, but she didn't have hey. Like, she has none of the letters I needed for hey.
Vowels, sorry.
Yeah, so I saw that she had an S and a P, and I was like, well, I could make it a sup. But then she didn't have a U, so I made a U out of a J and an I.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done.
And I created so you guys know, I created the exclamation point and the apostrophe, and then it felt a little bold and also kind of bottom weighted, so I added an because, you know,
I like it.
yeah, sup, and then it opens up, makes my little this thing right here, and then it says, you are my person and I like you.
Well done, well done. I made a few Valentines postcards.
Mm.
This one says, I heart us. I made this
Really
one,
cute.
which says, Happy Valentine's Day.
Aww.
And it's for you!
What?
Yulin.
That's so sweet. It
There
says,
you
you
go.
are the best. Thank you for being my friend.
Yay.
Hearts MK. That's so cute. I'm going to put this somewhere
Yay,
in my
please do.
living space.
Yay. And
Thank
then
you.
You're welcome. This one I just made that says all-time favorite. And that's for you guys.
Aw, that's so sweet. Do you know what other crafts you're going to do after this?
I don't yet. I haven't decided. I'd like to make it something topical to the month and or to the person. So we'll see.
I like that. Well, because I was thinking that you could start like an Etsy shop potentially, where you
Oh.
like put some of the crafts that you
that
can
we
put.
make?
Like, I mean, give us the option of taking them home, but then maybe
Interesting.
post them up for people so
Okay.
they're up for grabs. I don't
That's
know.
a good idea.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
If you
sure.
had Katie Campshire on here as a guest, I would probably
I would
want to buy her stuff.
for sure. Well, do
Yeah.
you want to put your card up on Etsy, or do you want to
I'm
take
going
it?
I'm going to keep this because
gonna
it's
give it
like
to a special
it's the
someone?
very because it's your very first Craftversation. So I kind of want it as a souvenir of like the first one because I
thank
think
you.
this will be a cool little series.
I hope so too. Thank you for being my first guest. It was really
Thank you.
lovely crafting and talking with you.
Oh, back at ya.
Come back next month for more Craftversations.
Subscribe and like and share.
And have a good day.
Hello! And welcome to Craftversations. This is my brand new show where we are going to make crafts and talk about things. And Yulin Kuang